What if I told you the future of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman could be decided by a shareholder vote? Because right now, James Gunn's entire DC future is caught in a deal that is suddenly falling apart. And yes, Netflix might actually lose DC. DC deal is officially in trouble. A massive media deal that was supposed to reshape the future of DC Studios is now facing serious resistance. Netflix's plan to buy Warner Bros. Discovery, the parent company of DC Studios, is no longer as safe as it looked just days ago. This proposed takeover, worth roughly $83 billion, would put the entire DC brand under Netflix. And that includes every major hero. A powerful shareholder just said no. According to Variety, a major Warner Bros. Discovery shareholder, Ancora Holdings Group, has officially announced it will vote against the Netflix deal. Ancora holds nearly $200 million worth of WBD shares. Their argument is simple. The Netflix offer gives less value and carries more regulatory risk. Scales # the real danger, government intervention. Analysts now say Netflix's bid has a much higher chance of being blocked by US antitrust regulators, especially compared to the rival offer from Paramount Skydance. In fact, many believe the Department of Justice could step in and shut the Netflix merger down completely. Here's where it gets even more aggressive. Paramount has now sweetened its offer, promising shareholders an extra $650 million per quarter if the takeover isn't completed by the end of 2026. In other words, Paramount is offering more money and taking more risk just to pull WBD away from Netflix. Fans may cheer, but it may not matter. A lot of DC fans are openly terrified of seeing heroes like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman end up living mostly on a streaming platform. But despite Ancora's public rejection, Warner Bros. Discovery has doubled down on supporting Netflix's offer. They also revealed that more than 93% of shareholders previously rejected Paramount's earlier proposal. Why this deal still looks locked in. Behind the scenes, the biggest supporter of the Netflix deal appears to be WBD CEO, David Zaslav. Not only is there reportedly a massive personal payout involved, but there are also strong rumors that Zaslav could retain a leadership position inside Netflix after the merger. That makes one thing very clear. Internally, WBD leadership is strongly aligned with Netflix. What happens to James Gunn and the DCU? For fans of the new DC universe, this is an extremely uncomfortable moment. In a perfect world, Warner Bros. Would stay independent and DC Studios would continue operating under its current leadership. The good news: thanks to existing exhibitor and IMAX agreements, James Gunn's DC films are contractual protected as theatrical releases through at least 2029. So no, DC movies are not suddenly becoming streaming only tomorrow. But after 2029, nothing is guaranteed. After that window expires, the long-term theatrical future of DC becomes uncertain. Even though Netflix CEO, Ted Sarandos, recently stated that Netflix would still maintain a 45-day theatrical window for Warner Bros. Films. That promise is still far shorter than what traditional studios prefer. One big positive for Gunn. There is one key upside. Netflix and Warner Bros. Discovery both describe their companies as complementary businesses. Which means, if the deal is approved, James Gunn is expected to remain as co-head of DC Studios. So creatively, Gunn likely survives the merger. Why some fans actually prefer the Paramount option. If Paramount Skydance were to win instead, the merger would look for more traditional, similar to how Disney absorbed 20th Century Fox. That usually means corporate restructuring, major layoffs, and aggressive consolidation. Netflix claims its model would result in fewer job losses overall. The worst-case scenario for DC fans. The nightmare outcome for many fans is simple. Netflix buys Warner Bros. Discovery, and future Batman films gradually shift towards streaming-first releases. There is no perfect outcome here. Only different levels of risk. And the real prize Netflix is chasing. If Netflix wins, it would control one of the largest entertainment libraries in the world, including DC, Warner Brothers Films, HBO, Harry Potter, and Game of Thrones. That's an extraordinary concentration of IP. Will Hollywood fight back? Some fans are hoping that major filmmakers, like Christopher Nolan or Tom Cruise, could publicly oppose the deal and trigger wider industry resistance. But so far, that hasn't happened. Final thought. Right now, this merger fight is far from over. But one thing is clear. This battle isn't really about streaming platforms. It's about who controls the future of DC storytelling. And for the moment, James Gunn's massive DC plans remain safe. But only because the contracts are protecting them. Not because the business war is finished.